What's up everyone, Path of Exile 2 is a pretty complicated game. I've played over 200 hours now, and I still feel like I'm learning new things every day. I learned something this morning that I should have probably known ages ago. So today, I wanted to make a video going over some big tips to make you stronger, to make you fly through the campaign, to make you get to endgame and get a really good head start. But yeah, hopefully this isn't just going to be things you've seen 100 times already. There are some things here that I've not seen around that I've only just discovered myself, so I really hope everyone learns something, and if you do consider subscribing to the channel. And if you have any extra tips, let people know down below. But yeah, let's get straight into this because there's a lot to go over. Okay, so one of the fastest ways to increase your damage and to really ramp up your damage is to get more gem slots. So you can see when you start the game, you have 2 gem slots on every gem. However, that can go up to 3, 4, 5, and you can ramp up your damage more. You see here, if I take this one out, the damage goes down to 8,600. With it in, it's 10,000. So your damage goes up a lot with these gems, and you can cast things faster, deal more damage, do more different status effects. So this is like the priority thing you should be going for. However, to get these gem slots, you need these things here, these jeweler's orbs. So these, the lesser ones take it from 2 to 3, they take it from 3 to 4, they take it from 4 to 5. However, they've got very low drop chances, and you're going to struggle to get these, especially during the campaign. But there is a trick to upgrade these without jeweler's orbs. So what you can do is, if you have these items here called Val orbs, and you'll get a lot of these drop during the campaign, you'll find loads of these, you'll find even more once you finish and you get to endgame. But what these do is they unpredictably corrupt an item, and that means it will get a positive or negative effect, or it will do nothing, and then it will corrupt the item, meaning it can't be changed. And you can use those on your gems. So if I go into my gems right now, one thing I want to get 4 sockets on Orb of Storms. I don't have a jeweler's orb to get it there. So what I do is I'll take this out, and this has 3 sockets. You can see here, 3 sockets. So what I'll do is I'll make a few more of these orbs. Where is it? Orb of Storms. So I'll make a few more. Orb of Storms, Orb of Storms. I'll make like 4 just to test. Okay, so all of these, as you can see, they have 2 sockets. So all of these have 2 sockets. Now what you can do is you can start using Val orbs to try and get a 3rd. You can also upgrade them once to have 3. So all of these now have 3. I'm just doing this to show you. So all of these now have 3. And then what we can do is we can use a Val orb. That reduced it from 3 orbs slots down to 2. We'll try again. That went to 4. So the second one now has 4 slots. So now, where I did have a 3, I could put these back in. 1, 2, 3. And now I've got a 4th socket on Orb of Storms to give it a massive damage boost. And I never had the jeweler's orbs that I needed to get that. Okay, another massive way to make your character stronger is with jewels. And you might not even be aware that you can make these jewels stronger than what you're just finding. So if you go into your passive tree, as you're playing the game, you're going to get to these nodes here, these empty jewel sockets. So you're going to unlock these, and then you can put a jewel in. So you would just go into your inventory and you would drag in a jewel like that sapphire into the jewel socket. And look how good these jewels can be. Increased cast speed, increased energy recharge rate, increased area of effect, and increased energy from meta skills. So these can be really, really powerful. And considering I think I've got like 3 sockets right now, that's a lot of damage added. It's a lot. And the problem is when you're playing through the campaign, you're going to get things like this. 7% increased damage. And you're going to be socketing that and thinking, yeah, it's okay. But you can upgrade that. So that's what I want to show you today. So if we just get, we'll use this one. This one's 7% damage. And then I think I have a pierce one as well. Yeah, 19% chance to pierce. So what you do is you go to your stash, you go to your materials. This is in the materials stash tab. If you have one of these, you get them from the store. If not, just find your materials. And these are basic items that we can upgrade with crafting. So if you go to these here, these are orbs of augmentation, augments a magic item with a new modifier. So if we take this and we use it on the pierce gem, it's now got 12% increased evasion rating. So it was already like, okay, now it's great. If we do the same thing with this strength one, we now have increased stun threshold. That's kind of okay. This one's pretty good though. I like this one. So now it's now a magic item with 2 affixes. So now we can use a regal orb, upgrades a magic item to a rare item. We can use that on the emerald. And now we have increased life recover from flasks. That's kind of okay. And that's about as far as you can go with it. But you can also add an extra affix onto it. So you see now we have 12% increased lightning damage. So I think that's as far as you can go with jewels. Yeah, you get 4 sockets. So 4 affixes. So we just took a 19% pierce gem And now it has evasion, lightning damage, and life recovery. So if you're playing like a lightning archer, it's a pretty good gem right now. 12% damage, 12%, 19% pierce. So that's something that everyone should be doing because these materials drop all the time. You get tons of these. I got like 600 of these. And you can literally triple how good a gem is, quadruple if you get good rolls. But yeah, hopefully that helps as well. Okay, now let's go over equipment. How to upgrade your equipment really fast and how to find if an item is a good item or a bad item and if it's worth keeping and worth just getting rid of. So let's go over that. And as well, if you're finding this useful, do consider subscribing to the channel. So firstly, I'll use my weapons as an example. So if we go over the wand, if you look at that at first glance, that looks pretty good. +4 to lightning spells is huge. Increased mana regen, increased spell damage. That looks like a really good wand. What you want to do is hold Alt on PC. There'll be a button for console. I'll try and find it. But on PC, it's Alt. And this brings up this little window here where you can see all the tiers. And if we look at the tiers, the way a tier works is the higher the tier, the higher what that can roll in. So if we use mana, for example, mana is tier 3, which means it can roll between 25 and 34. For the level of this item, I would want like tier 9 or something much higher. I would want a really high tier. So this item is actually terrible, but it looks pretty good because it's got some good stats on it, but they're all really bad rolls. So this is something I know I want to upgrade immediately. For example, if we look at the focus, that looks okay, right? It looks pretty good. However, if you hold down Alt, the energy shield is a tier 10 and the mana is a tier 10. So this is an incredible item. This is like almost the best I could get. This is really good for me because I really need energy shield and I really need mana with this build. So this is a really good item for me. So I'm going to hold on to this for a long time. And it's going to be hard for me to upgrade that quickly because it's already got really good stats for me. So yeah, that's the first thing I would do is hold down Alt and you'll quickly see if an item is bad or good. As you get further into the game as well, you're going to start seeing this. So as you fight certain mobs, they're going to drop items and next to it, it's going to say tier, So it's going to show a tier next to it. That brings up the floor. That brings up the floor of what that item can roll. So if that is a tier 3 and you identify it, everything should be tier 3 or higher. So that means that's a really good way to spot a good item because bringing everything up means that you've got a better chance of getting those really high tiers and those really high rolls. Now, to get better items, you can either craft it, you can either find it manually from drops, you can go to the vendors. So if we just go to like any vendor in every town has a few vendors that will sell items. And you can just go to them, buy and sell, and you can just buy items here, hold down Alt, look if it's a good roll or not. That's one way to do it. But by far the best way to find items is to buy them from the players. So what you want to do is go on the Path of Exile website. So this is the Path of Exile website, pathofexile2.com, the official site. It's not some dodgy trading website. You log in the top right of the corner of the screen up there, and then you press trade. So what we'll do is, let's say we're leveling a warrior and we want a really good two-hander to deal loads of damage. So you'll go in here, you say, oh, I want it between level 30 and level 40. I want it to be a two-hander, so any two-handed weapon, rare. And then I want to go on here and I want physical damage, increased physical damage of 50%. And I want plus to melee skills, plus of all melee skills of at least 1. This is just an example. Let's say that's what you're looking for to get some big damage increase. You can go down here and look for what you want. And then let's say you find one that you want. Let's say you really want this two-hander here. You really want this two-hander. All you'll do is you'll click Direct Whisper here and it will whisper the player. So what I would do is, say we're looking at these two here, I would click Direct Whisper and I'll do it on this guy as well just to test it. And then we go back to our game. And you can see here in the chat box, it automatically whispers the person and says, I would like to buy this. And instantly we get an invite from one of those people. They were selling for an Exalted Orb, so I'll take out one Exalted Orb. So we'll go to the player. Once we get there, we just click trade, waiting for them to accept the trade. We drag in the Exalted Orb. That's the weapon we saw on the website. Accept. And now we've got a really good two-handed weapon in 30 seconds. So that's far better than anything you're going to find from drops. It's far better than just waiting constantly for the perfect item. You just filter what you want and trade on the website. So yeah, hopefully that helps give you that power increase as you're playing. Okay, now let's talk about upgrading the quality of our gems. So if we go into our gems and we hold down Alt, you can see additional information. And we mentioned this before, like using Alt to look at the additional stats of your gear. If you're on console, I don't know what the button is, but if you go into options, input, it's this thing here. show advanced item descriptions. Whatever button you have here is the button you want to press. It's Alt on PC, so it'll be here if you're on console. So if we go into our gems, and again, we use that button for extra item descriptions, we can see here additional effects from quality. Now, what this means is every gem will have some sort of stat that will go up as the quality goes up. So if you just hold down Alt and look at them, fires additional projectiles on Spark. If we look at Archmage, non-channeled spells gain damage as extra lightning damage for each 100 mana you have. So if we look at that one, for example, that's a pretty good one to have because I have 3.6 thousand mana right now, 3.6k mana. So that is a nice one to have. So if I go here, I go into my stash and I go to my materials, you want to be getting Gem Cutter's Prisms. And I've got Archmage here. If I right click this and then I click the gem, you can see now quality plus 5%. And we're getting non-channeled spells cost an additional 5.2% of your mana. Non-channeled spells gain 6% of damage as extra lightning damage. And just keep upgrading it. I've used 4 on this now. So the quality is now at 20%, plus 20%. I think that's the max you can go. Yeah, 20% is the max you can go. And you can see now, non-channeled spells gain 8% damage. So I've now got 10% damage as extra damage for every 100 mana, which is big. So this was originally 6%, and with quality, you gained an extra 2, which is why it's now at 8. This is something really good. You can get like extra projectiles, extra damage, extra chain, and there's, you know, every gem is different. So definitely look at your main abilities and look what will happen if you increase the quality. So yeah, that's another good one that you should definitely take advantage of because these do drop and you might have them and you might never have used them. Okay, now let's talk about the Trial of Sukma. I don't like this trial. A lot of people don't like this trial because it's very punishing. So if you want to upgrade your ascendancies, you have to complete the Trial of Sekima and the Trial of Chaos. And then to get your 3rd ascendancy and your 4th ascendancy, you have to do them again on a harder difficulty. And it sucks. It's not good. It's not fun because it relies on honor. So I want to show you a trick to make this easier. So the way it works is if you get hit, you take a chunk of honor. So you take a chunk of damage as honor. So even if you've got a really good build, tons of damage, you've got really, really good defenses, you know, you never have to get anywhere near close to failing. You will still fail because you've run out of honor. Because you can get hit, take virtually no damage, and still lose loads of honor. And that's why you're going to lose and fail the trial. That's why I lost and failed the trial. One thing you want to be getting on every single relic when you go into these trials is honor resistance. Now you can try and get these from other players, or you can just keep running the trials until you open the chests and you find them and they drop from mobs, because these are what you want. You want these things here, plus honor resistance. If you hover over it, you lose much less honor. Max honor is capped at 75% by default and cannot go higher than 90%. So you want to make sure that you're taking as many items as possible. Don't go for maximum honor. Don't go for, you know, sacred water, movement speed, none of this. You just want to be going into here, resistance, and you want to be getting things with honor resistance. There you go, 5% speed, 8% honor resistance. That's the one thing I'd be stacking in that little box when you go for your trial. Honor resistance, and then you will take less honor damage and that bar will go down less and you'll fly through much easier. It still sucks. It's still not a fun experience and it's still really hard if you're melee, but hopefully that does help get your ascendancies a little easier. Okay, now for a big tip that you might not be aware of. If you go into your passive tree and you look around the passive tree, one of the best things you want to be going for is these end nodes here. So you go through the minor nodes and then you get these notables here, which have really good stats on, really good boost to your character that you want to be going for. And they're usually at the end of long chains. And one thing that you're going to see is, even though you're up here in, like, I'm in the mage section, I'm in the sorcerer section up here, you might want to get something down here, but you might not want to spend 20 points to come over here. What if I told you you could get one of these nodes for free without going to it? Let me show you how. So I want right now, if I type in mana, there's a mana node I want down here called conservative casting. But to get that, I would need to spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I need to spend like 15 points to get there. But what you can do is, if you hold Alt, the descriptive button again, you can see this thing come up. It's got 3 little icons next to it a lot. It's got a green tube, and a red tube. And it says distilled emotions, disgust, ire. Now the importance of this is there's an end game system called delirium. And delirium is these big mirror portal things open up, you go through, you fight a bunch of mobs, and if you beat them, you get certain materials, and you can see them on your map as these things here, these things with the little arms coming out of them, these things. These are deliriums. So you want to be going to these and getting them these materials. However, if you go to the currency exchange, you can just buy them. So if you go to like distilled, what is it? Distilled gilt. Distilled gilt would cost you 1 distilled gilt, would cost you 1 exalted orb. So you can get them without doing this end game activity if you just want to grab them, and you should. So if I go back to the passive tree, and I need for mine, I need disgust, ire. So green, green, red. If I go to what I've got the stash tab for it, but you can just grab them from your inventory. I want disgust, ire. So I want 2 of these, and I want 1 of these. I could get these from the currency exchange if I want, which will unlock as soon as you finish the normal story and you get into Cruel. And there'll be a vendor in every city after that will have a currency exchange. So yeah, you get these items and you right click them. And if I put my amulet in my neck, and then if I put in these items as it showed, disgust, ire, I get conservative casting. 20% increased mana regen and 8% reduced mana cost of skills. If I instill that on my necklace, my necklace now allocates conservative casting. Make sure you grab your necklace out of that window right there, or otherwise you have to open another ire to open the window again. But yeah, grab it out of the window, and you can now equip that. And then if we go into the passive tree, you can see now this little icon is down here. So even though we haven't got anywhere near it, we now have this passive node out there, and you can test it. You can go into your inventory. I'll show you. If I take it off, to cast 1 arc costs 326 mana. If I put this on, to cast 1 arc costs 307 mana. Same with Spark. Spark is 173. I take it off, 183. So you can see that that passive node is working. So that's great. Yeah, that's it from me. Hopefully there's been at least one thing here that was new, or that was at least interesting. And if there is, if you have liked this video, if you like this style of guide, do consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, that kind of thing. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you would add to any of this, or if there's any other cool tips like this that you want to share with other people. This is a hard game. This is a complicated game. Let's share the knowledge if we can. I wanted to keep this as detailed as possible, so sorry if it's been a bit of a long one, but thank you all for watching. Take care. I'll catch you in the next one.